Hello everybody and welcome to the Knit1 Breathe 2 podcast. My name is Alyssa and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram using Planetologist. It is August 30th today, which means this is a roundup post of what crafty things I have done in the month of August 2019. I hope you are doing well and I hope that your August was excellent. It's hard to believe that another month has gone by since my last roundup. Wow, that means school starting soon for the kids and myself. And it's always a bittersweet time of year. I'm sometimes excited to go back, but if you ever taken a vacation from work, it's always a little tough to get back into the groove and stuff. So the first week is pretty tiring. Usually by the end of it, I just want to crash as soon as I get in the door and sleep all weekend. So we'll see how next week goes. I'm excited though. I'm back at the school that's close to me. I'm teaching 2 classes, this time in science. So that'll be a bit of a switch too. So I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for the kids to get back to school. They definitely need their routines going. And they need to see their friends from school that they didn't see very often during the summer. And yeah, I think we all just need to get back into a routine, though it'll take a little bit of effort, I think. So, August, wow. So what happened? We went to a cottage for a week. Every summer we rent a cottage somewhere in Ontario, just to kind of check out all the different cottage areas. Because eventually we hope to invest in a cottage property, but we'll see. And I honestly do not remember the name of the town that it was nearby, but it was lovely. It was great for the kids. It had a dock and on a nice little lake, and we spent a lot of time in the water and on the dock and hiking and doing puzzles on rainy days, and I got a lot of crafting done and reading done. So yeah, it was a good vacation. I don't think there's much else that happened. I've just been kind of getting ready to go back to school. I've been starting to think about my classes, how I'd like to teach them, doing all that normal beginning of the year stuff to get ready. So how was your August? Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. It's tough, right? Because it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere and it always feels like it's ending in the end of August, but we still have another month, at least in this part of the country, at least of relatively warm weather. Thankfully, my school that I'm at this year is air conditioned. Yay! So that's good. That will be good. So let's see what else. I kind of wanted to give a shout out to the comments on my last podcast where I talk about the Sockmatician issue. Thank you for those of you who commented. And I got my first thumbs down ever. Yay! I got 3 of them. Thank you for that. It made me happy, which is kind of funny because it meant that I was talking about something that maybe that's not super comfortable. Anyway, so cheers to thumbs down on YouTube. It was bound to happen at some point. So let's see. Let's talk about the oh my gosh, the knit-alongs and make-alongs I was taking a part in. I did take part in the Codependent Make Local knit-along as well as the Fiber Friends Striped Socks knit-along, and I'll show you what I finished to get into both of those. I have not done any dishcloths since probably June now. That was kind of my thing that I did during school because it didn't take a lot of effort. So I may get back into those once school starts here. In terms of a make along, I was thinking we would do one. And I was thinking about doing like a whip that whip kind of thing. Choose a whip that you really want to get done. And I'm going to stretch it out to the end of the year, December 31st. So starting today, August 30th, well, this might be up tomorrow, but whatever today is when you're watching this, it'll go to December 31st. And you're going to finish as many whips as you can. Whip those whips. Which means I'm going to be working on my Tegna, which I have made progress on. I really want to focus on my whips, because I don't know about you, but I fell into this Ravelry black hole a couple weeks ago where I was just spending hours on Ravelry going over all sorts of patterns and pinning them all. And oh, I'm sorry for the light, it's a little weird today. The sun's in a much different place than it used to be, and so now we're getting these. Maybe I'll close this. These kind of help it a bit. Anyway, I have a big tree right out this window, so when the sun comes through it, then you get all those weird patterns of light. So anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, my Ravelry black hole. I started looking at all these cropped sweaters. As you know, the Tegna, or maybe you don't, but the Tegna can be knit as a crop. And I'll probably, once I get it to the depth that it tells me to stop at, I'll just check to see where it is, to see if I like it. But I like the idea of having these shorter sweaters that can go over, you know, a long maxi dress or a maxi skirt or something like that, or high-waisted skirts. So we'll see how I feel, but I started getting obsessed with them, and now I have a whole new list in my Ravelry queue. Well, not my queue, but my favorites, and I have thinking about all the yarns that I have just kind of sitting here. Maybe I'll do that instead of all the shawls that I had planned, because I'm kind of shawled out. I think I talked about that last time, but I'm feeling a little shawled out right now. So anyway, let's do a whip that whip make along then. So anything that you have on your needles now, if you finish it between now and December 31st, you can put it in the Ravelry thread, and then at the end of that, end of December 31st, I'll do a draw for a prize, and I'll figure out what to do for a prize. There's a couple yarn festivals coming up here, so that's always a good opportunity to find yarn for prizes. And I like buying local yarn to give out as prizes. Okay, so let's do that. I don't think we need any info on that. I'll talk about that over the next several podcasts as well. So let's get into the crafty goodness. Let's talk about finish objects. I have one. Well, I'm going to include books, but I have three. But I have one crafty finish, and those are my Stitch Surfer socks. Aren't they awesome? I love them. So they're kind of opposite, right? I'll put a couple pictures in here as well, just so you can see a couple different views. But I wanted them have them flat for you. I definitely screwed up the pattern a couple of times. The first sock, I did put the heel in the wrong spot slightly. It's only probably off by about 5 stitches from where it should be, but it shouldn't be all black, if you know what I mean. I did the second heel right, and you can see that there's a split in the color. There should have been a split in the color on this one as well, but oh well. I definitely, on the wrap and turns, that's how you change the color as you go around. I definitely forgot to do sometimes, or I forgot to slip one at the beginning of the round. I can talk about this pattern because it is free on Ravelry. It is the Stitch Surfer sock pattern. Oh, I brought the wrong bag up. Oh well, that's okay. I've shared it before, and I'll put the information at the bottom. Stitch Surfer sock. it was really fun. I quite enjoyed it. I know people don't usually love short rows, but it was pretty easy to do. The yarn I used, was a black fingering weight yarn from Knit Picks. And the stripe is from Leo and Roxy, and it was a one of a kind because they actually don't have many self-striping colors. So, and I got that last year at the Woodstock Fleece Festival. So yeah, I love them, and they are really comfortable and they fit super well. The heel that she uses I quite liked. It's just like a short row heel, so you don't have to do the flap and gusset and then pick up stitches. So it's similar to the Fish Lips Kiss, but it was slightly different. I quite like the way it fits, and this was the first time I cast on, well, it was a toe-up. It's a toe-up pattern, but it is, you cast it on 16 and then you increase to 60, and I normally do a 56 stitch sock around my foot and leg. It is a little baggier, but I also like the stitches. It gives it a little more room. Like, they're still compact enough, right? I mean, there's no space between, you can't see through it or anything. But it gets it a little more stretch when I put it on. So I may, well, next time I do a sock, just do 60 as opposed to 56. Because I do use US zeros, so 2 millimeters. So they're quite small needles. So maybe doing the 60 would be better. One modification I did make is I did a 2x2 rib on the top instead of a 1x1. I just like the 2x2 a little nicer. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Didn't take very long. You know, cast them on in July and finish them in August. So considering I work on a bunch of other stuff too, yeah, it went pretty quick. So happy with those. So give them a try if you've been wanting to try them. I know a few of you have said you've been eyeing that pattern for a while. Give it a go. It's not difficult. Just take it one instruction at a time, right? And you'll get it. If you make a mistake, no one will know unless you tell people. So that was my only crafting FO. I do have a reading FO that's knitting related. So I shared that I got this book a while ago and I finished it, Handy Woman. And this is by Kate Davies. Wow, I had to think about that for a second. It's about her, her stroke that she had when she was 36, I think. She talks about that experience and then her recovery, and then she weaves in, no pun intended, her experience with knitting as well, and her craftiness and her family, and she kind of goes back and forth between talking about stroke stuff and then family stuff, and then it all comes together. So I quite liked it. I did underline quite a lot, especially in the stroke sections, just because some of the things she said really gelled with me, what my stroke experience was like. So for example, this quote, "If I didn't make a good recovery by the end of those 2 months," which is what her doctors were kind of giving her as a deadline to get out of the hospital, would I not have tried hard enough? And I remember feeling like that, like, you know, this, am I supposed to be doing something else to recover faster? What am I doing wrong? That kind of thing. Yeah, so I quite liked it. There were a couple chapters at the end that didn't really appeal to me as much, but it was still informational. She does say at the beginning of the book in her preface that She gives you, if you're not interested in certain things, she gives you which chapters to skip through. So you definitely don't have to read the book front to back if you don't want to. But because each chapter was interesting to me in different ways, I did read the vast majority of it. There was one chapter that I kind of skimmed through that wasn't of particular interest to me. But yeah, it was a great book. I recommend it, especially if you know someone who's had a stroke or if you've had a stroke. It gives some really good insights into what it's like, especially to recover or try to recover afterwards. So it could help give yourself some understanding or understanding other people who are going through the same thing. The other book I finished was an audio book, and it's called The Coddling of the American Mind. I'm not going to talk about it much here. It basically talks how more recently in colleges and universities and in high schools, students seem to be less resilient. And of course, it also talks about the rise of stress and anxiety in our culture, especially with young people. So it just talks about the causes and also effects of that kind of thing. So I'm not going to get into it much, but I found it absolutely fascinating. So if you're interested in psychology, and if you work with people of that age, teenagers, 20-somethings, it could give you some insights into where they're coming from and how the world looks to them. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else about it because it's really not important to this podcast. So those are my FOs. Let's talk about my WIPs. I did make some progress on my half sales shawl. Oh, can't say that. First of all, I don't remember it. But not much. Only maybe a couple stripes, so it's not worth showing. But I have been working on my Tegna. So one of my goals this month was to finish the lace section of my Tegna, and I have done that. Yay! And so now I'm into the stockinette portion of the body. So let me just get this untangled. So this is Tegna by Caitlin Hunter. And there is the lace pattern. I wish I could give you... It's a little hard to show lace, isn't it? You can see it though. You can see kind of the patterning come out. So it's kind of a two-tiered laced, similar patterning repeat, but a little bit different in the second one. So yeah, so that is the bottom of it, and now I'm going up. I'm supposed to knit this for, I think it's 11 inches or 15 inches or something, and then you separate for the sleeves. So we'll see. So, but now that I'm on the stockinette section, I can just knit when I'm watching TV or listening to audiobooks or watching podcasts. So that's nice. So yeah, I'm happy that that is done. That was a bit of a slog to get through that lace section, but I did find it got easier over the summer because, of course, I wasn't stressed out with school and work, and I had more time. So there you go. One of my other goals for this month was to finish a big section of my Shades of Orange cross stitch. I got close. I did not finish it. Mostly because I find the strip that I'm working on, the band that I'm working on right now takes way more concentration. So I can't do it if I'm watching a show that I need to know what's going on, or if I'm listening to a book. So I find it harder to work on, but there you go. Oops. So I'm almost done that second square. So you can see I've done, a total of 3 of those kind of flowered patterns in the middle there, and I have another, I think two to do, but then all the dark red or darker orange stuff in between. You can see it on the other side there. So this is by Shades of Orange by Northern Expressions Needleworks. I've shown it many times, I've worked on it many times. It's gonna take me probably another year to finish is my guess. But it's coming along, I enjoy it. This, I gotta say, this section is the only one that I don't love doing. Everything else is really easy to do while doing something else. But this one requires more counting and concentration. This one, in fact, is moved over by one stitch. So I'm hoping to fudge it around here so it doesn't look as bad. So that's why I decided to start down here and bring it up. And then we'll see how I'm gonna fudge it to make it look a little better. So that's it on my whips. Yeah, I didn't do any other cross stitching. I've just been working on that one and really just those two knitting projects. So now my goal for the fall, work on my Tegna. I need to finish my So Faded sweater. I have the body knit. I just need to put the sleeves on and then figure out what to do for the neck. I don't love the fact that I have to pick up stitches for the neck to do the neckband. I may just leave it. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see. Let's see, what else? I'll just double check my list here. Okay, yep. Okay, wow, that was quick. So let's talk acquisitions. For some reason, I ended up buying stuff even though I don't need anything. And like lots of stuff. And it's all self-striping, every single thing. So first, on Instagram, I was totally caught off guard by Mustache Yarn, by their what is this called, the Woodstock 50 colorway. They posted a picture and I was blown away and I went immediately and bought it. I mean, it was no hesitation, no, oh, do I really need another? No, it was, I love it, I'm getting it. So here it is. It is, goodness, Mustache Yarn. This is their Woodstock 50, which I believe is now done. I don't think they have any more, but you could always check on the website to see. This is their perfect self-striping sock, and these are their must-match skeins. So I completely forgot that I ordered the double skeins. So they split it into two, so then you can have perfectly matching socks. Love it. I am so excited to do that. I will be doing just these in a vanilla pattern once I get to them, because I went to the Little Red Mitten and for a knit night, and I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to get the watermelon colorway, the Tutti Frutti watermelon colorway, because I've seen so many people knit with this and I love the way it looks. So they happened to have a bottle. The last time I was there they didn't, so they must have restocked, or I just didn't see it last time. So yeah, so this is Regia. It's cotton Tutti Frutti in their watermelon colorway. It is, this must be 100 grams. Yeah, it's 100 grams. I usually only use 50 for a sock, so just keep that in mind for the next few minutes. Okay. I also then got, I've always wanted some timber yarns, and so I got some timber yarn self-striping as well. This is a Canadian company and they do these beautiful, beautiful self-striping socks, and they sell them in these double skeins so you can have the perfectly matched socks. This is fingering and it's an 80-20 merino nylon mix. It is beautiful. This colorway, I'm sorry, is called Sage. Sage colorway. Gorgeous, right? Love it. Greens, and looks like a couple tones of gray, maybe 3 tones of gray and a few tones of green. It'll be fun to knit these up. And then, these I did not buy, but I did it in a trade. So, Verena in Germany, she is on Instagram, Knit, Live, Love, Knit, Live, Love, right? Yeah, if that's wrong, I'll put it down here. So we decided to do a trade because she had posted some socks that she did a while ago in this self-striping colorway by Mothie and the Squid, which has been discontinued. It's called, let me just double check, Gray Skies Rainbow. And I just fell in love with it as soon as she saw it, or as soon as she posted it. And then she said, hey, I'm going to write a contest, I think. I can't remember if it was the contest or not. Anyway, she said she only uses about 50 grams for socks. And so she had 50 grams, and so she sent it to me. So I have some of that self-striping yarn from Mothie and the Squid in that beautiful self-striping colorway. That is basically gray, and then it does a rainbow. Gray, rainbow, gray, rainbow. Which, yes, the skein that I'm giving away for the pay it forward or whatever I decided to call it, you know, the good things that happen posts. That's what I thought I had ordered, but I did not. As you can tell, this is not going to be self-striping. But this is what's going to be in the giveaway, which I'm going to extend because there's only 5 entries right now, and I know people are away in the summer, and my podcast is or this version of my podcast doesn't have many subscribers, so I thought I'm going to push it till Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, which is October. Let me look that up first. That way it can be, you know, a thankful post too. So October 14th. So October 14th, I will extend that draw. So what you need to do for that is go to Ravelry and go to my group page, Knit1 Breathe 2, using the numbers, not spelled out 1 or 2. And I'm just going to go to it. It's called the Random Acts of Kindness draw. So there are 6. Well, there's not really 6 because the first post is mine. And the second post is from our wonderful friend Lisa, who has also donated another skein of Ancient Arts yarn to be drawn from someone out of the Random Acts of Kindness thread. So now we have 2 prizes for that, which is fantastic. Yeah, so I think, yeah, so there's 4 in there right now. So right now your chances are 50-50. Because I don't think Lisa wanted to be included in the draw. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to extend that to October 14th, so we have more time. We can maybe get some more people involved in that. Or if you have another random act of kindness you want to share. She also sent me some elephant moth. Is that what it's called? Elephant hawk moth yarn. And I don't think this is a self-striping. Maybe it is. I have no idea. Is it, Verena? Let me know. Yeah, I love the colors in this one. This is one of Mothie and the Squid's kind of, I would say, signature colorways. I've seen it quite often. Love it. So thank you, Verena. So, remember how I told you to hold the phone on this? I would love to do a self-striping sock yarn swap in our group. So maybe I'll set up another thread in Ravelry. Maybe we can do it for Christmas or something. We can send them out end of November to make sure everyone gets them, but that would be really fun. So the idea is, if you're like myself and Verena and only use about half a ball of yarn, I usually use between 40 and 50 grams for a pair of socks. Like even these, I only used 25 grams because it was half of each sock. So I still have 75 grams left of that. So what I'm thinking is we can all each sign up and do a self-striping sock swap. SSSS. I think that'd be fun. So I'll put that in the Ravelry thread and see if there's anyone interested. And I'll post that on Instagram as well to see if there's additional people interested there. Excuse me. I knew I was going to sneeze. So yeah, if you have, 50 grams of self-striping, one or more, then we can sign up and maybe I can draw names and pair people up, that kind of thing. That could be a fun thing to do before the holidays. Okay, so that's all my acquisitions. Just wanted to see if I had... No. Okay. That is all my acquisitions. So I think that's it for the knitty goodness and crafting goodness. So I'm going to have just to summarize that, because that was a little all over the place, I felt. To summarize, I'm going to extend the Random Acts of Kindness draw till October 14th, which is Canadian Thanksgiving. Starting today, whenever you see this video, until December 31st, we're going to do that whip cal or make along. Any project that you have started before August 31st, or what's today, August 30th? Let's just say, yeah, before August 30th, if you finish it, you can put it in that whip make along thread, FO thread, and I'll figure out prizes for that for December, end of December. Okay, and then the third one is if you are interested in doing the self-striping sock swap, put your name into the Ravelry group as well. Okay, so as you guys know, I like to end the podcast with the Breathe 2 section. What was I going to talk about? I had a few ideas. I kind of make a list of ideas. Okay, so a few things I've been working on with my new therapist. One of the things I talked about with her is, why do me, but a lot of us, when we want to relax or check out, we pick up our phones or devices and then we just scroll through social media. And even though we think that's going to be relaxing, I always feel even worse after I've done it, especially if I'm on it for a long time. And I may have talked about this already, but I don't remember. But one thing she said is, oh yeah, I did when I showed you my activity list, where I kind of kept track of my activities during the day, and then how I felt after doing each activity. And what she notices in general, and what I noticed, is the less energy you put into something, the less energy you get out. And that's why when you're on the phone and on your screen and you're just scrolling, you're hitting a couple likes, you might get those quick dopamine hits, but it doesn't last for very long, right? It doesn't keep your energy up. It doesn't give you energy. But when you go for a walk, or you go for a swim, or you go to the gym, or you do laundry, or you cook, or you do gardening, you get more energy out than you started with usually. And that's because her kind of general idea, the more energy you put into a task, the more energy you get back in return. So I'm trying to be mindful of that, especially with the phone and iPad and such, because that is one of my go-to ways of checking out. Like if I'm stressed out, if my kids are annoying me, if I'm mad at my husband, I'll just, go somewhere with my phone and iPad or just scroll through things. And then I feel worse. And so one thing that I saw someone suggest recently, because I have been practicing meditation for a few years now, but I've gotten out of the practice recently. And one thing they suggested is to work it into your everyday life. So not just doing it in the morning or not just doing it at night or whatever. I'm kind of having to carve out a special time for it. What they suggest was when you feel like you want to go scrolling on your phone, you could still pick up your phone, but go on a meditation app instead. Do that for, 5 minutes and then see how you feel. And then make a decision then. So I think I might try that first. It's so hard though, because you're just like, oh, I just want to look on Facebook. But why, right? I mean, there's nothing really on there that I need to look at. Or Twitter or Instagram, right? So I think that's going to be I'm going to try to make myself a rule that if I do pick up my phone, I have to do a quick meditation first before I can do anything else. I wonder if you could set that up on your phone. Like, nope, you can't use your phone until you do this. I bet you can. I don't know how, but I bet you it's a possibility. So yeah, maybe share your stories. What are activities that take energy away from you, and what are activities that give you energy? I talk about the typical ones, right? Exercising, obviously, gardening, cooking, even cleaning. Like I cleaned the house the other day and it took me a couple hours. Well, one of the floors, it took me a couple hours. And afterwards, I just felt a little more level-headed. I wasn't happy and excited because I cleaned the house, but it was, and if that's your thing, that's cool. But it was, you're productive and you feel, okay, I did something, and I also kept my mind off of things, right? And so I just felt a little more even keeled and relaxed after I had done it. So I'm trying to stay away from the screens as a relaxation technique because it does not work for me. It makes me feel worse. Okay, so that is my suggestion and insight for the day on stress and anxiety. So I guess next time I will see you, it will be mid-September for a make-along video. I hope your next couple of weeks are filled with lots of good craftiness. But don't forget to breathe too. See you next time. Bye-bye.